Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a signal, a challenge, a test, and how you respond to it defines who you are. The Stoics never tried to erase fear. They trained for it, they studied it, they learned to live with fear and rise above it, because fear will visit you when the path is uncertain, when the stakes are high, when the risk is real, and in those moments, you don't need panic. You need presence. You need discipline. You need courage. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, betrayal, and the pressure of ruling the Roman Empire. And still, he wrote with calm. He wrote with strength. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The Stoics believed this deeply. Fear is not the problem. Your judgment of fear is. Your avoidance of fear is. Your surrender to fear is. This is not a lesson in feeling less. It's a guide for acting wisely, despite what you feel. This is how to conquer fear, to face the unknown, embrace courage, and live without limits. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Define the fear before it defines you. The first step to conquering fear is to name it, to look it in the eye, to ask, what am I really afraid of? Most people don't fear failure. They fear judgment. They don't fear rejection. They fear being seen. They don't fear the unknown. They fear their lack of control within it. The Stoics refused to be vague with fear. They broke it down. They understood that clarity is power. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." What you imagine is often worse than what you'll ever face. When you name the fear, you shrink it. When you define it, you begin to take its power away. So write it down, say it aloud. Strip fear of its disguise. You can't conquer what you refuse to see. Chapter 2. Remember what's in your control. Fear thrives in the space between what you want and what you can't control. You want certainty, but life offers none. You want guarantees, but outcomes are unpredictable. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some are not." You don't control what happens next. You don't control what others think. You don't control results. But you do control your focus, your preparation, your response. Fear tries to pull you toward things you can't reach. The Stoic mind brings you back to what you can actually do. Focus on that. That's where your courage lives. Chapter 3. Don't avoid fear. Approach it. Fear grows when avoided. What you run from gains power. What you face loses its grip. The Stoics didn't avoid hard things. They leaned in. They practiced voluntary discomfort. They prepared for hardship before it came. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." Fear is a teacher in disguise. It shows you where you've been avoiding your growth. It shows you where your work is. Move toward it. Breathe through it. And on the other side of that fear, you'll find freedom. Chapter 4. Shift the focus from outcome to effort. Fear often arises when we obsess over results. Will I succeed? Will they like me? Will it be enough? But outcomes are outside your hands. What matters is how you show up. The Stoics didn't care about applause. They cared about action, effort, integrity, virtue. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." When you focus on what's within your control, fear fades, not because you know what will happen, but because you know who you are in it. You don't need to know the future. You just need to bring your best to the present. Chapter 5. Redefine what fear means. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal. It's not the voice of truth. It's the voice of protection. Your body and mind are trying to keep you safe. But safe doesn't always mean strong, and strong doesn't always mean comfortable. The Stoics didn't treat fear as a threat. They treated it as a teacher. They asked, "What is this fear revealing about me? What challenge am I being called to face?" Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the presence of fear. It's saying, "Yes, I feel it, but I will not be ruled by it." Epictetus said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Fear shows you the edge of your comfort zone, and what you do next determines everything. Don't run. Don't shrink. Lean in. Chapter 6. Practice fear in small doses. You can't conquer fear overnight. You conquer it in increments, by building confidence through repetition, by doing small, hard things until they're no longer hard, by training your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. The Stoics practiced voluntary hardship for this reason. They skipped comfort. They welcomed challenge. They trained for life, not ease. Seneca wrote, "A man who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave." That's the mindset. Expose yourself to your fears in manageable ways and speak when you're nervous. Stand tall when you feel small. Try what intimidates you. Let failure teach you, not define you. Each time you do what you once feared, you gain something. Not just courage, but proof that you can. Chapter 7. Create stillness in the storm. Fear wants speed. It wants you to react, panic, hide, but the Stoic trains for the opposite, stillness. Stillness is not passivity. It's presence. It's the calm between thought and action. It's the breath that says, "I will not be shaken." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Stillness is where courage gathers. It's where reason regains control. It's where you remember who you are. So the next time fear surges, pause. Don't react. Breathe. Step back and act, not from panic, but from principle. That is the Stoic response. That is the mark of inner strength. Chapter 8. Let go of the fear of judgment. One of the greatest fears in life is not death. It's disapproval. We fear being misunderstood. We fear being laughed at, doubted, rejected. But the Stoics called this what it is, a distraction. You are not here to live for the crowd. You are here to live in alignment with your principles. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be a writer, write." In other words, do the thing. Be who you are. Say what must be said, and let others say what they will. You'll never conquer fear if you live at the mercy of opinion. Let go of needing to be liked. Let go of needing to be understood. Live truthfully, and the right people, the right peace, and the right clarity will follow. Chapter 9. Accept that some fear is natural. The goal isn't to never feel fear. The goal is to not be owned by it. The Stoics didn't try to eliminate emotion. They accepted it, but they didn't obey it. Fear will always show up in moments that matter. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're alive. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." Feel it. Let it pass through. And then move forward. You're not trying to become fearless. You are learning to live powerfully, even while fear walks beside you. Chapter 10. Live by principles, not feelings. Fear distorts your emotions. It clouds your judgment. It urges you to act quickly, to avoid, to hide, to protect. But the Stoic doesn't live by emotion. They live by principles, by clarity, by reason. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This is your compass, not how you feel, but what is right, not how scared you are, but what your values require of you. When you anchor your decisions in your values, fear loses influence, because your path is no longer chosen by emotion, but by purpose. Chapter 11. Use memento mori to gain perspective. Fear grows when you forget what really matters. You fear discomfort, rejection, risk, until you remember that all of life is temporary. The Stoics practiced memento mori. Remember you will die. Not to depress themselves, but to sharpen their focus. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do and say and think. You don't have time to live in fear. You don't have years to waste on overthinking. Your time is limited. Use it. When death is on your mind, fear becomes small, and the only thing left to do is live fully, fearlessly, and truthfully. Chapter 12. Rehearse courage in daily life. You don't become courageous all at once. You build courage in moments, small, intentional acts. Say what you need to say. Stand your ground. Ask the question, set the boundary. Step into the unknown even when your voice shakes. The Stoics practiced courage as a way of life. They believed that bravery isn't reserved for warriors or emperors. It's for anyone willing to act from principle rather than fear. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Each time you practice courage, you reinforce it. And eventually, courage becomes who you are. Chapter 13. Face the unknown, with preparedness, not panic. You will never know exactly what's ahead. There is no full certainty in anything, no path without challenge. But that doesn't mean you're helpless. It means you must be ready, not rigid. The Stoics didn't resist uncertainty. They anticipated it, prepared for it, and moved forward anyway. Seneca advised, "Fortune falls heavily on those for whom she's unexpected. The man who is always expecting her easily withstands her." You cannot conquer the unknown by trying to control it. You conquer it by preparing your character, your discipline, your virtue, your clarity. Let go of the fantasy of control. Embrace the real power of readiness. Chapter 14. Walk with purpose, not perfection. Fear often whispers that you're not ready, that you're not perfect, that you need more time. But the Stoic doesn't wait to feel ready. They act with reason, not hesitation. They walk with purpose, not perfection. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste time debating what a good man should be one." This is your reminder. You don't have to feel fearless to be powerful. You don't need to know everything to start moving. You don't need a flawless plan to take one clear step forward. Progress is always stronger than perfection. Purpose is always stronger than fear. Chapter 15. Let fear become fuel. Fear is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the sign that something meaningful is ahead. It means you're alive, growing, changing. The Stoics didn't ignore that feeling. They listened to it. They turned it into fuel. Every challenge sharpened them. Every risk reminded them of their strength. Every fear became a doorway to something greater. The same can be true for you. You don't conquer fear by fighting it. You conquer fear by walking with it until it has nothing left to teach you. Final reflection. Fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Silence is. Surrender is. You are not weak for feeling fear. You are human, but you are not meant to be ruled by fear. You are meant to rise above it. The Stoics didn't chase fear away. They outgrew it. One breath, one choice, one courageous act at a time. So take the step. Speak the truth. Face the challenge. Start the journey. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be present. You just need to be steady. You just need to move. Fear is not the signal to stop. It's the signal to begin. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you become someone new. Every time you take action in the face of fear, you build a stronger foundation. Let fear sharpen you, not paralyze you. Let it be your fire, not your cage. Face the unknown, embrace courage, live without limits.